A lonely pair of black twin girls approached a police officer and whispered two words into his ear, leaving him utterly shocked. But as he began his investigation, he discovered much more at stake than he had ever imagined. Who were these mysterious twins, and how could those two words change the officer's life forever? Let's delve into this story together. In the late afternoon, sunlight stretched across the highway, casting flickering shadows on the pavement. Officer Liam adjusted his hat and squinted against the bright light. Standing beside him was Alex Turner, his longtime partner. Together, they were conducting vehicle checks at a temporary checkpoint where cars moved slowly in the golden light of the fading day. The line of cars passed by orderly, and the atmosphere felt calm, but Liam always remained vigilant. Over 15 years on the force had honed his intuition, allowing him to sense immediately if something was off. The heavy engine of a large truck suddenly roared from a distance, breaking Liam's thoughts. He raised his hand, signaling the truck to stop. The massive vehicle gradually slowed down, finally coming to a halt with a hissing brake and a light puff of diesel smoke from its exhaust. The metal surface of the truck gleamed under the late afternoon sun. Looking at it, Liam had an uneasy feeling, though he couldn't pinpoint why. Alex also noticed and stood ready. Liam walked up to the driver's side window, where a rugged, rough-looking man with a scruffy beard and a tense expression sat. The driver, Mark Robber, seemed to be in his early 30s, keeping both hands on the wheel carefully, as if trying to appear calm. Without speaking, his actions seemed rehearsed, too natural yet slightly contrived. With Alex supporting him from behind, Mark slowly handed over his paperwork. However, his eyes quickly glanced toward the passenger seat before he gave them to Liam. It was as if something drew Liam's attention toward the passenger seat, and when he looked into the truck's cabin, he saw two young girls sitting quietly inside. They were twins, around 10 years old, with soft, curly hair and face marked by worry. Emma and Lily sat still on the seat, trying to make themselves small, their dark eyes cast downward as if hiding their presence. Liam sensed that something was very wrong. The girls' eyes betrayed a deep-seated fear. Sitting close together, they were rigid, with their small hands tightly clasped. Emma looked down, avoiding eye contact, while Lily trembled, her tiny shoulders shrinking with each unexpected sound. Though it was only a glance, Liam could feel the twins' anxiety and unease. Something was not right in this situation. A strange tension filled the confined space of the truck's cabin. Liam exchanged a subtle, meaningful nod with Alex, who immediately understood, cautiously stepping back to start checking the documents Mark had handed over. Meanwhile, Liam walked slowly around the front of the truck, each step seeming to absorb some of the tension brewing inside him. He approached the passenger side window, leaned down, and gently tapped on the glass. This time, Emma lifted her head slightly, her gaze meeting Liam's for a fleeting moment. But within those eyes, Liam saw an unmistakable, indescribable fear. It wasn't the natural fear of a child. It was the fear of someone trying to escape something terrible beyond their control. Keeping his face calm, Liam offered a reassuring smile. He leaned down a bit more, closer to their eye level, to avoid appearing intimidating. "Hello, sweetheart," he said in a gentle, warm tone. "I'm Officer Liam, but you can call me Liam if you'd like. Could you tell me your names?" Emma and Lily didn't respond, only looking at each other and then down at their feet, their small hands still tightly clasped together. Looking closer, Liam noticed that the girls' shoes were old, dusty, and scuffed. A tiny, worn-out backpack lay at Lily's feet, as if they had traveled a long distance. Both of them looked so fragile and tired. It was clear that these weren't typical children on a family road trip. Liam's instincts urged him to act. Though he tried to keep his calm, his heart pounded with concern for Emma and Lily's safety. Liam kept his voice gentle. "It's okay. You don't need to be afraid. Could you tell me what's going on?" He tried not to appear intimidating, hoping to build trust with the two children. Emma and Lily glanced at each other as if consulting each other silently. After a moment of silence, Emma finally gave a slight nod, while Lily bit her lip, her eyes full of fear and caution. After a few moments of reassurance, Liam asked, "Is there something that's making you feel worried?" Emma glanced around once more, as if ensuring no one else could hear, then looked down and whispered just softly enough for Liam to hear. "There's poison." The word poison rang out like a warning, and Liam instantly knew this wasn't an ordinary situation. Emma and Lily's eyes shone with a profound fear, one rarely seen in children. From his experience, Liam knew they were trying to convey a real and urgent danger. He felt certain that this was no childish misunderstanding. It might very well be a serious warning about a threat inside the truck. He exchanged a look with Alex, silently agreeing that they would need to conduct a thorough inspection of the vehicle and find out why these two children were here, in such a precarious and unusual setting. The late afternoon slowly gave way to the golden hour, and a strong sense of duty surged within Liam. He knew this wasn't going to be a routine check. Liam and Alex began carefully inspecting every corner of the cabin, from the glove compartment to the back storage area, but everything appeared normal. Mark Robber, the driver, started to look uneasy, his eyes darting around as if hoping to avoid detection. His eyes flashed with tension, especially when Liam began checking the tire area, a common hiding spot used by smugglers for concealing illegal goods. Liam noticed some irregularities around the rear left tire, faint scratches, and signs of recent tampering. "Let's check the tire thoroughly," Liam whispered to Alex, his eyes still fixed on the driver. The driver immediately stiffened, his hands clenching into fists, and beads of sweat began forming on his forehead. Alex switched on his flashlight, examining every part of the tire's rim closely. "This rim looks like it's been removed and reattached multiple times," Alex remarked. His words seemed to increase the driver's anxiety, and he started looking around as if searching for a way to escape. Without hesitation, Liam and Alex proceeded with the inspection. Alex pulled out a tire removal tool from the patrol car and began carefully loosening each lug nut. The metallic clicks echoed in the quiet atmosphere, heightening the tension. The driver couldn't hide his distress. He shifted uneasily, his hands trembling as if he knew what was about to be revealed. Finally, Alex removed the tire, exposing an empty cavity inside. Both Liam and Alex were stunned to see several white packages, carefully wrapped in tape and plastic, neatly concealed within the tire compartment. The packages of drugs were stacked together, filling the entire space inside the tire, indicating this wasn't the driver's first attempt at such a sophisticated smuggling method. "Well, what do we have here?" Liam asked, his voice calm but his gaze piercing as he looked directly at the driver. He held up one of the packages, locking eyes with the driver. The man's face instantly turned pale, and he began to sweat even more. I don't know anything about this. It's not mine," he stammered, desperately searching for an excuse, but his eyes betrayed his fear. "Then perhaps you could explain why these packages are in your tire," Alex asked, maintaining a calm yet firm tone. With no escape, Mark lowered his head in silence, realizing there was no point in denying it. Liam and Alex decided to take him into custody. "Mr. Mark Robber, you are under arrest for the transportation of illegal substances," Alex declared firmly. "You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law." Mark tried to protest, his hands shaking, but his panicked expression revealed that he knew it was over. As Alex escorted the driver away, Liam returned to the two girls. He knelt to speak to them, making sure they could hear him clearly. "It's over now. You're safe. We'll take you to the station, where you'll be secure and can rest." The girls looked at Liam with gratitude in their eyes, but their fear was still evident. They nodded softly, clinging to each other's hands as they cautiously climbed into the patrol car. Liam sensed that discovering the drugs was only part of the story. The twins had gone through something far more terrifying, and in their eyes, he could see signs of painful memories they hadn't yet dared to share. Liam got into the driver's seat, with Alex in the back along with the girls. As the car started, Liam glanced in the rearview mirror, seeing the two girls sitting silently, their eyes distant as if lost in thought. He wondered what could have led them into this situation, and who was behind all of this. On the way back to the station, Liam and Alex exchanged a few thoughts on the complexity of the situation. Alex spoke quietly. "I think there might be a larger network involved here. This driver couldn't be acting alone." "Absolutely," Liam agreed. "These girls probably know more than they're letting on, but they're not ready to talk yet. Maybe they're still being threatened." "We'll keep them safe," Alex said with determination, both of them aware of the need to ensure the twins' absolute protection. Other vehicles continued passing through the checkpoint, but none of the drivers or passengers knew that a major smuggling operation had just been uncovered on the roadside, and that Liam had found not only two young victims of a serious crime, but possibly the key to unlocking a deeper hidden story. After bringing the two girls to the police station, Liam and Alex guided them into a small waiting room where they could rest while social services were contacted. The two girls sat close together on a bench, holding hands tightly, their eyes cast downward as if afraid to look at anyone around them. Even though Liam had tried to create a safe space, he could still see the anxiety and caution in their every movement. "Can you tell us what happened?" Liam asked, sitting down beside them and keeping his voice as gentle as possible. The girls remained silent, occasionally glancing at each other as if communicating in an unspoken language. After a moment, one of them finally spoke, her voice trembling. "We can't tell. They told us we weren't allowed to say anything to anyone." Her response felt like a sad sigh, heavy with fear that was hard to put into words. Liam sensed that whatever these girls had gone through was far from simple. It was clear that someone had pressured them into silence, and that threat loomed large enough to still haunt them, even though they were out of the dangerous truck. He knew that pressing them further wouldn't help at this point, so he offered a reassuring smile. "That's okay. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. I just want you to know that you're safe now." The younger girl looked up at him briefly, her eyes filled with suspicion and fear, before looking down at her hands again. The older girl gently placed her hand on her sister's shoulder, as if to say, "We're okay now," without needing words. Liam noticed this small gesture, reaffirming that she bore a heavy responsibility for her age. The way she protected her sister seemed instinctual, a necessary survival trait in the harsh situations they had faced. Alex, standing nearby, could also feel the heavy and cautious atmosphere surrounding the girls. He leaned down and softly suggested, "Would you like some water? Or maybe a small snack? We have some juice and cookies here if you'd like." The two girls looked at each other once more, as if exchanging thoughts. After a few seconds, the older one gave a small nod. "Yes, just some water, please," the younger girl whispered, her voice barely audible, but it was a positive sign that both Liam and Alex recognized. They understood that every small gesture from the girls needed patience and sensitivity. Liam stood up, making sure not to make any noise that might startle them, and left the room to get water. While waiting, Alex stood quietly, keeping just enough distance so the girls wouldn't feel pressured. He simply wanted them to feel that they were in a safe place where no one could hurt them anymore. When Liam returned with 2 small cups of water, he smiled softly, gently placing a cup in each girl's hands. "Here's some water. Take your time. We're here with you, so there's nothing to worry about." The girl remained silent, but the older one's eyes softened slightly as if she was beginning to realize that those around her truly wanted to help. Liam then stepped out to contact social services, leaving the girls to sit by themselves. From a distance, he could see them huddled together, their small hands clutched so tightly that their knuckles turned white. Although he didn't have all the information, just looking at their faces, Liam could tell that they had endured terrifying and painful events, far beyond what children so young should have to bear. A while later, a social services vehicle arrived, and a woman named Rachel entered, smiling gently at Liam. She was experienced with handling sensitive cases, and her concerned expression as she looked at the girls showed she would do her best to make them feel protected. "Thank you, Liam," she said softly before approaching the girls. Rachel sat across from them, speaking in a warm tone. "Hello, I'm Rachel. I'll take you to a safe place where there will be comfortable beds and people to care for you." The two girls looked at each other, their eyes filled with a mixture of doubt and worry. They didn't say anything, just nodded quietly and followed Rachel out of the station. Before they got into the car, Liam approached, kneeling to make sure they could hear him clearly. "You're safe now. Alex and I will always be here if you need anything." He smiled and waved them goodbye, his gaze filled with both concern and reluctance. In the social services car, the girls sat side by side, still holding hands, their eyes fixed on the window, oblivious to Rachel's words of reassurance. As the car drove past unfamiliar streets, they couldn't hide their guarded expressions and lingering unease, despite having adults and temporary protection around them. Eventually, they arrived at the children's shelter, a worn-down building with lit windows. Rachel gently led them inside, through long, quiet hallways. The room they were brought into was small, but decorated with warm colors and had a few toys like stuffed animals and a puzzle set on a small table. However, they sat close together on the bed, their hands tightly clasped, paying no attention to the toys or anything else meant to ease their worries. Another social worker approached, gently trying to ask a few questions about their interests and habits, but the girls only answered briefly, avoiding eye contact. Rachel stood watching from afar, her heart heavy as she observed the distance between the girls and everyone around them. Although they were out of immediate danger, it was clear that the two children were still haunted by what they had gone through, and the somber atmosphere in the small room deepened in response. Meanwhile, Liam sat at the police station, his mind unable to stop replaying the events of the day. His thoughts swirled with countless unanswered questions, and his instincts told him that those two girls had gone through something far more horrific than he knew. Their hollow, guarded gazes, filled with an almost obsessive vigilance, along with their inexplicable silence. All of it convinced him that a much deeper mystery lay hidden behind that silence. Their fear seemed to seep into the air, spreading an indescribable sense of unease that Liam couldn't shake from his thoughts. Despite his years in the force and his experience facing the toughest cases, this particular incident felt different. There was something dark, intangible, yet powerful, surrounding this case. It felt as if it went beyond a simple case of kidnapping or abuse. What those children had witnessed, what they had endured, was perhaps more terrifying than he could imagine. He told himself that he couldn't and mustn't let this case go just because it stretched beyond what he knew or was familiar with. Liam looked up at the wall where a bulletin board displayed files, photos, and notes related to the case. His gaze stopped on the photo of the two girls, their eyes vacant, their expressions hollow, sending chills down his spine. He knew that although the girls had been temporarily placed in a safe environment, the memories they carried were still there, like an unhealed wound, aching and filled with unanswered questions. The girls had spoken no words, but their eyes seemed to scream, to plead, as if they were trying to escape a profound terror no one else could understand. Liam couldn't deny his responsibility. He knew that as a police officer, his duty didn't end with providing temporary safety. Protecting the children was only the first step. The crucial task was to uncover the truth behind their haunting fear, their whispered sighs, their wary glances. All of it felt like a silent plea, urging him to seek the truth. He was determined to find the cause of the terror that gripped their hearts. As he thought more deeply about these things, Liam felt a weight settle in his chest. He thought about childhood, about the happy memories that every child deserved to have. But then, he thought of those two girls, and he felt a deep sense of injustice, of pain. These children should be playing, smiling innocently, and experiencing joyful moments. Instead, they carried memories that seemed to have emerged from a nightmare. A wave of sorrow rose in Liam's heart, and he realized that he wasn't just a police officer here. He was also a protector, like a big brother, ready to go to any length to find the truth and free these children from their terrifying darkness. He remembered his previous cases, where everything would be resolved once the culprit was found. But this time it was different. This wasn't just a journey to seek justice. It was a journey to recover lost childhood, to bring back smiles to two young faces. Their fear wouldn't vanish on its own unless someone helped them confront and erase the shadows of their terrifying memories. Liam knew he would face many challenges, perhaps even pay a price, but he also understood that he couldn't abandon them. Finally, Liam stood up, his eyes filled with determination. He realized that nothing mattered more at that moment than discovering the truth. He would go to the very end, no matter how frightening and painful the road ahead might be. He took a deep breath, silently making a promise to himself and the two children. He would not let them suffer any longer. This was no longer merely the duty of a police officer. It was a promise from one human being to another. A promise to fight to the end for the peace of two young souls in desperate need of protection. After many sleepless nights, Liam decided to share his thoughts with his wife, Sarah. "Sarah, do you think we could take care of the girls temporarily?" he asked, his voice warm but resolute. "I feel that if they stay in the shelter, their fear and sense of alienation will only deepen." Sarah, a compassionate and empathetic woman, looked at her husband for a moment before nodding and holding his hand. "I've been thinking about it too. If the girls could live in a family environment, they might start to feel safer. That's what every child needs, especially after everything they've been through." With the decision made, Liam contacted the shelter and offered to take the twin girls, Emma and Lily, into temporary foster care while the authorities continued their investigation. That evening, the atmosphere was special. Liam stood in a small reception room at the shelter, his hands clasped in front of him as he gazed thoughtfully out the window. The soft afternoon light streamed through the frosted glass, casting warm patches on the floor. He took a deep breath as if to steady his emotions for this significant moment in his life. Hearing soft footsteps behind him, Liam turned around. A social worker approached, exchanging a few friendly words. They had met a few times before, during meetings and discussions about Emma and Lily, the twin girls about to enter his and Sarah's lives. The social worker smiled gently, conveying her understanding, and led him down a long hallway to the room where the girls were waiting. The waiting room was simple, with pale-colored walls and a few toys arranged in the corner. Emma and Lily sat close together on a long bench, their clear eyes fixed on the floor, occasionally glancing around with shy curiosity. When they saw Liam enter, they seemed startled but quickly lowered their heads, huddling even closer to each other. The way the sisters sat quietly, holding hands, was like a sad yet tender picture of love and attachment. Liam offered a gentle smile, careful not to disrupt the moment, and slowly walked over, sitting beside them. He spoke a few comforting words, his tone as soft as if he were speaking to his children. However, there was still a heaviness in the air due to the unfamiliarity. He could sense the unease and confusion in the girls. Their eyes held a mix of anxiety and curiosity about this stranger who was about to become a part of their lives. To help them feel more at ease, Liam talked about their new home. He described the room he and Sarah had prepared, with bright colors, toys, and the books that he hoped would bring joy to the sisters. He described the backyard, where Sarah was growing flowers, and the swing hanging from a large oak tree, hoping these would be their first happy memories in a new environment. Hearing him talk, Emma and Lily began to look up, listening with a mixture of interest and skepticism. After a while, the social worker handed Liam some necessary documents and a small bag, all of Emma and Lily's belongings. The contents were meager and simple, mostly a few clothes and an old teddy bear. Liam looked at the bag, his heart tightening as he thought about what the girls had been through. Finally, it was time to go. Emma and Lily held hands as they followed Liam out of the shelter. He tried to make them feel safe with lighthearted stories along the way, gradually easing the atmosphere. As they stepped out of the shelter gates, a gentle breeze blew by, carrying the fresh scent of grass and open skies. Liam's car was parked by the curb, the back door already open. He gently helped the girls into the car, buckling their seatbelts before getting into the driver's seat. Before setting off, he turned around to give them an encouraging smile. With all three settled in the car and starting their journey home, Liam kept the atmosphere light and relaxed. After a moment, he turned back, smiling at the girls through the rearview mirror. "Emma, Lily, are you feeling okay?" Liam asked in a warm tone. Emma and Lily sat close together, their dark eyes looking up at him, then glancing at each other for reassurance. After a moment, Emma, the older sister, hesitated before nodding slightly and whispering, "Yes." "Okay." Liam gave them an encouraging smile. "I understand. You probably feel a little strange, right? I'd feel the same if I were in your place, but don't worry. We'll get used to it slowly." Lily, the younger sister, tugged gently on Emma's sleeve, her eyes brightening a bit as she looked at Liam. She spoke up in a soft voice. "Do you have a cat at home?" Liam chuckled softly. "Yes, we do. We have a cat named Milo. Milo is very gentle and loves playing with kids. Do you like cats?" The question made Lily nod excitedly. "Yes, I love cats. We couldn't have any pets at the shelter, only a few sparrows that came to the window sometimes." Emma joined in, her voice quieter but more at ease. "Yes, we would watch the birds and talk to them." Liam smiled warmly, continuing the conversation to help the girls feel safe and close. "Oh, so you like animals too. Besides Milo, we also have a little garden out back. There are many sparrows and butterflies there. Whenever you want, I'll take you there, and we can watch the birds at the shelter, okay?" Emma offered a shy smile, but her eyes sparkled. "Yes, that sounds fun. Do you have many books at home? We love reading." Liam's face lit up at the question. "Oh yes, both Sarah and I love reading. So we have a whole bookshelf. It has all kinds of books, fairy tales, comics, small science books too. If you'd like, I'll show you the bookshelf as soon as we get home." Lily asked hesitantly, "And what about Miss Sarah? Will she be happy if we stay with you?" Understanding the worry in their eyes, Liam replied gently, Sarah is very excited to meet you. She's already prepared a room just for you, arranged toys, and even baked some little treats that she thought you might like. Sarah is very kind, and she'll be thrilled to meet you both. Emma squeezed Lily's hand and nodded. Thank you. We didn't think anyone would care about us like this. Hearing this, Liam felt a pang of sadness, but also warmth, knowing that he and Sarah could bring a bit of hope and happiness to them. He said softly, "From now on, you don't have to worry anymore. Sarah and I will be here to care for and love you. This is your new home, and I hope we can create happy memories together." Their conversation continued with innocent, enthusiastic questions from Emma and Lily. Throughout the ride home, Liam not only earned the girls' trust, but also sparked a new hope in their hearts about family in a home filled with love and protection. When the car finally stopped in front of their small house, Liam noticed Emma and Lily looking around with curiosity. His house sat in a quiet neighborhood, surrounded by green trees. The front door was already open, and Sarah stood on the porch, her gentle smile ready to welcome their new guests. As Emma and Lily slowly stepped out of the car, their eyes grew wide as they took in their new home. Liam followed close behind, his heart full of hope that this would be the place where the girls could find joy and happiness. At first, Emma and Lily were shy, hardly leaving each other's side. Their eyes still held the familiar wariness, and their hands remained tightly clasped, as if not wanting to lose their one true anchor. Sarah had prepared a warm, cozy room for the girls, with twin beds, soft bedding, and gentle decorations. "This is your room, girls. You can think of this as your home," Sarah said gently, trying to put them at ease. Emma and Lily only nodded slightly, their eyes showing a hint of worry, as if still not fully believing that this place was safe. But Sarah and Liam were patient, allowing the girls to explore the space and gradually get used to their presence. In the beginning, Emma and Lily were very reserved, rarely leaving their room unless Sarah or Liam called them. Gradually, under the patient care of Sarah and Liam, the girls began to feel less afraid. Emma, the older sister with slightly longer hair, often sat alone by the window with a set of colored pencils Sarah had provided. She loved drawing, and whenever she had a chance, she would sit quietly, carefully sketching images from her memories. Lily would sit beside her, silently watching her sister draw, as if it were her way of feeling safe. One afternoon, when Sarah entered the room, she saw Emma intently drawing a garden scene filled with purple and red wildflowers. "You draw beautifully, Emma. Is this somewhere you've seen before?" Sarah asked, her voice full of encouragement. Emma hesitated, then nodded slightly. "Yes, Mom used to take us to a garden like this. There were lots of purple flowers. She said they were her favorite color." Emma replied, her voice soft but tinged with sadness. Through Emma's drawings, Sarah and Liam slowly learned more about the distant memories the girl held on to. Pictures of family, scenes filled with color, but long past. These drawings not only helped Emma express her emotions, but also allowed Sarah and Liam to bond with her, learning about her past. Meanwhile, Lily, Emma's younger sister, had a more outgoing personality. Lily often liked to sit with Sarah in the kitchen, helping with small tasks like washing vegetables or slicing fruit. As she worked, Lily would begin to share fragments of her past, cautiously and slowly. One day, she told Sarah, "We used to have a family, but one day, they took me away. Mom and Emma couldn't do anything." Her voice choked, her eyes distant with longing. Sarah felt a pang in her heart as she gently stroked Lily's hair. "You're safe now, sweetie. Liam and I are here, and no one can hurt you anymore." The reassurance from Sarah gradually helped Lily open up, and through each story, Sarah saw that Lily had a strong and resilient heart. As the days passed, Emma and Lily began to feel the warmth of a true family at Liam and Sarah's home. In the evenings, Liam often sat with the girls, reading them stories. Emma loved tales about nature and animals, while Lily enjoyed listening to adventures. Their eyes started to shine brighter, and the fear that once haunted them now only lingered as fading memories. One evening, Emma sat by a small table and began drawing a new picture. She drew a warm home with 2 adults and 2 children sitting together. The picture symbolized the journey they had been on, a path from fear to safety. When Sarah saw the drawing, she couldn't hold back her tears. She realized that she and Liam were no longer just protectors, but had truly become family to the girls. With each passing day, the bond between Emma, Lily, and Liam's family grew stronger. When Emma sat silently drawing, Sarah saw it as her way of healing. Meanwhile, Lily, full of laughter and stories, filled Liam and Sarah's home with joy and liveliness. The love and patience of Sarah and Liam helped the two girls gradually recover, letting them feel loved, protected, and finally find a place to call home. The days spent with Emma and Lily had become a profoundly meaningful time for Sarah and Liam. Not only did they offer the girls unconditional love, but they also felt a simple joy in seeing smiles and innocence gradually return to their faces. However, this bond led to an unexpected discovery, something beyond Sarah's wildest imagination. One morning, while they were sitting together and drawing, Sarah gently asked Emma and Lily about their family. Both girls exchanged hesitant glances before Emma began speaking softly. "We don't remember much, but there's one memory. It was a big festival in the city. There was a man playing guitar with a sparkly hat, and our mom always bought cornbread from a small stall where the vendor wore a yellow apron with a bee on it." Sarah felt her heart tighten. The details Emma had just described, the musician with the sparkly hat, their mother's favorite cornbread stall, matched exactly with her memory of the last day she had seen her twin sisters, Emma and Lily, when they were lost in the festival crowd. It was a day that Sarah would never forget. Keeping her composure, Sarah softly continued, "Do you remember anything special about yourselves? Maybe a mark or a unique trait?" Lily thought for a moment and then replied gently, "I have a heart-shaped birthmark on my right shoulder. Mom used to say it was a special mark." Hearing this, Sarah felt a wave of emotion. She clearly remembered that ever since Emma and Lily were young, her mother would always joke that the heart-shaped birthmarks on their shoulders were a sign of destiny that marked them as lucky twins. It was a memory deeply etched into Sarah's mind. Struggling to hold back her emotions, she asked, her voice trembling, "Could you show me that birthmark?" Emma and Lily looked at each other before pulling up their sleeves to reveal the heart-shaped birthmarks on their right shoulders. Seeing those marks, Sarah felt as if she couldn't believe her eyes. Her heart swelled with emotion, and tears silently fell down her cheeks. There was no doubt left. Emma and Lily were indeed her long-lost sisters, whom she had been searching for all these years. Composing herself, Sarah took a deep breath and smiled gently at them. "Thank you for showing me. You two are truly special." Right after that moment, Sarah found Liam to share the whole story, and they decided to conduct a DNA test for official confirmation. When the DNA results were released, everything was confirmed. Emma and Lily were indeed Sarah's sisters, those whom she had thought she'd lost forever. That evening, Sarah and Liam prepared a special dinner to celebrate the reunion. The table was filled with foods they had carefully chosen based on Emma and Lily's preferences, along with 2 small silver bracelets as their first gifts for the girls. When Emma and Lily came down for dinner, Sarah sat beside them and began a story, her voice gentle and warm. "Girls, I want to tell you a story about my family," Sarah said, her eyes affectionate. Emma and Lily sat still, their round eyes watching Sarah, full of curiosity. She continued, "When I was little, I had 2 twin sisters, whom I loved very much. My family would often go to festivals, with street performers and small stalls." Sarah paused, her eyes welling up with tears as she recalled the old memories. And then she saw that Emma and Lily were beginning to recognize something in her. Story. "One day, at a festival in the city, I got separated from my sisters. We searched everywhere, but we never saw each other again." Emma and Lily listened intently to every word Sarah said. Tears began streaming down their cheeks as they realized that this story wasn't just a story, but a memory that had deeply marked their lives. Sarah looked into their eyes, holding their hands gently, and whispered, "I believe you two are my sisters. Your birthmarks, your memories of the festival, everything matches my memories." Emma and Lily, overcome with emotion, hugged Sarah tightly. "So, we have a family?" Lily asked, her voice trembling with emotion. Sarah hugged her sisters close, her voice tender yet filled with love. "You've always had a family, Emma and Lily. And now, we found each other again." As the three embraced, the sorrow and painful memories of the past seemed to dissolve. For Emma and Lily, this was not just a new family, but a return to their roots, where they could finally feel the love of their true family. From that day forward, Liam and Sarah's home was filled with the laughter of the 2 girls, a joy and warmth like never before. Their story wasn't just a journey to reunite a family, but a tale of faith and hope, a miraculous and heartwarming reunion. After discovering that Emma and Lily were her long-lost sisters, Sarah was overwhelmed with emotion and joy. She and Liam devotedly cared for the two girls, creating a warm and safe environment for them. Emma and Lily gradually began to feel at peace, starting a new life with the family they had never expected to find. However, this peace did not last long, as Liam realized that the danger from Emma and Lily's past hadn't completely vanished. Mark Robber, after being arrested and temporarily held, began to understand that Emma and Lily had been instrumental in helping the police uncover the concealed illegal shipment in his truck. Feelings of bitterness and fury surged as he recalled the twins' cautious and fearful expressions during his attempts to keep everything under wraps. Mark knew these children weren't merely accidental victims. They had the potential to bring down his entire smuggling operation. Driven by revenge, he quickly devised a plan from the inside to retaliate. Just a few days later, Mark's associates, those still operating outside, began taking action. They monitored Liam's family and attempted to intimidate him, hoping to pressure him into silence and halt the investigation. One day, as Liam dropped Emma and Lily off at school, he noticed a black car with tinted windows parked on the opposite side of the street. At first, he thought it was just a random car, but over the following days, he began to notice it frequently. Appeared at the same time Emma and Lily got out of school. His sense of unease grew as the car continued to show up wherever his family went, like a haunting shadow. One afternoon, when Sarah picked up Emma and Lily from school, she noticed a strange man standing near the school gate. The man was tall, dressed in a dark coat, and appeared to be watching intently. As Sarah approached to pick up the girls, his gaze briefly swept over her before he disappeared into the crowd before she could confront him. Her instincts told her this was no coincidence. Someone was clearly watching their family. Feeling alarmed, Sarah recounted everything to Liam, and they agreed to heighten their vigilance. They began escorting Emma and Lily to school punctually, limiting the girls' time outside alone, and always staying close. Yet, the sense of unease lingered. One night, Liam received a strange call at midnight. On the other end of the line was only the sound of heavy breathing, followed by a raspy voice that said, "If you keep those kids, one day you'll pay for it." The chilling voice was like a knife to his ear, and Liam couldn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, he asked a colleague to trace the number, only to find it was untraceable, a difficult lead to follow. The threats became increasingly apparent. One time, when Emma and Lily were playing at a nearby park, a black car slowly approached, stopping at the corner, with the occupants staring intently at the girls. Sarah quickly brought them home, anxiety filling her heart. Liam decided he could no longer sit idly by. He devised a plan to protect his family, not just through surveillance, but with concrete action to drive the gang away. He contacted Alex and other trusted colleagues, arranging for a team to monitor the areas around their home and Emma and Lily's school. He also hired a security expert to check the cameras and surveillance system at home. One morning, when the family woke up, they found an envelope lying on the doorstep. Inside was a photo of Emma and Lily after school, accompanied by a scrawled message, "You can't keep them safe forever." The sight of the photo sent chills through both Sarah and Liam. They realized the gang knew exactly where their family lived and was watching their every move. When Emma and Lily saw the picture, they couldn't help but feel anxious and frightened. Old memories of their harsh life under the gang's control resurfacing in their innocent eyes. That night, Emma and Lily couldn't sleep well. Every small noise outside the window startled them awake. Sarah sat by their side, gently comforting them and promising that no one would hurt them again. "We'll get through this together. You're home now, and I won't let anyone take your happiness away," she said, her gaze resolute. In the days that followed, Liam worked closely with the police to monitor any suspicious activity around their home. With the support of his colleagues, he set up a stringent security system. However, the gang didn't easily give up their target. Once, while taking Emma and Lily to buy school supplies, Liam noticed a man in a black cap discreetly watching them from behind. When Liam turned to look, the man quickly walked away, but it was clear that something was amiss. Liam fortified his family's protection in every way possible, but he understood he couldn't let the gang continue to threaten Emma, Lily, and Sarah's safety indefinitely. With a police officer's determination, Liam began planning to capture the gang leader, the one who had once turned Sarah's sisters' lives into a nightmare. He discussed his intentions with his superiors and launched a campaign to dismantle the gang, not only to protect his family, but to eliminate the threat at its source. Though their lives were still filled with fear, Emma and Lily could feel Liam and Sarah's love and protection. Despite the looming danger, they understood that this family was a place they could rely on. In Emma and Lily's eyes, trust gradually replaced fear, and courage began to grow in their hearts. Over time, Liam's plan to protect his family and investigate the case began to show results. He and Alex gathered enough evidence to prove that Mark's organization went beyond a single smuggling operation and was a large-scale operation with numerous illegal activities. Clues from ongoing investigations pointed to the gang's main hideout and staging area for goods. Liam knew the time had come to act. One decisive strike could take down Mark's organization and restore peace to Emma, Lily, and his family. One day, the investigation team's intel brought a glimmer of hope. They discovered that the gang was gathering at an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, believed to be their base of operations. This could be the only chance to raid and capture the gang before they could plan another attack. Liam immediately contacted his team to prepare for the raid, while also arranging security measures for his family in his absence. The night before the mission, Liam sat beside Emma and Lily in the living room, gently holding their hands to reassure them. "Trust in me and Sarah. No one will hurt you anymore. I promise to protect you to the end." This promise wasn't just words, it was a pledge from the depths of his heart. At dawn, a convoy of police vehicles moved silently toward the warehouse in the thick fog. The police set up a perimeter around the area, ready to seal off every exit. Liam's team quickly took their positions, forming a tight circle around the building. All was quiet as they prepared for the raid, their flashlights sweeping through the dark corners of the warehouse, illuminating figures trying to flee in panic. When the warehouse door was forced open, the raid officially began. The sound of heavy footsteps and the shouts of "freeze" filled the dark space. The gang members resisted fiercely, and Liam's team moved swiftly, ensuring that no one escaped. In that moment, all focus was on the mission, with every move and decision critical. Through the haze of gunfire and shouting, Liam saw a figure at the end of the hallway, Mark Robber, the gang's leader, trying to escape through this back door. Realizing this was his chance to capture the leader, Liam chased after him without hesitation. Mark glanced back at Liam, his eyes flashing with fury and despair as he realized all exits were blocked. In a panic, he tried to run faster, knocking over crates to slow Liam down. The intense chase took them through rows of stacked goods, where flashlight beams flickered, reflecting Mark's eyes filled with terror. Liam stayed close, navigating the obstacles with impressive speed. The sound of footsteps echoing on the concrete floor heightened the tension of each moment in the pursuit. Cornered at the end of the warehouse, Mark turned, brandishing a sharp knife, his eyes filled with madness and a determination to fight to the end. Liam stared back, his gaze resolute and unwavering. Using his combat skills and calmness, Liam easily avoided the attack, swiftly disarming Mark with a powerful move that sent him to the ground, securing his hands in cold steel cuffs. When Liam's colleagues arrived, they saw him standing beside the captured leader, sweat on his brow, but a look of fierce determination in his eyes. Every member of the gang was subdued, and the warehouse became a crime scene illuminated by floodlights, filled with police officers and evidence of criminal activity. The confrontation was over, and the threat to Emma, Lily, and the family had finally been eliminated. Liam stepped into his house at dawn, exhaustion weighing on his shoulders, but his heart filled with relief and peace. The raid had ended, and he knew the threat had been defeated. Each step echoed through the quiet house, affirming the reality that he could finally return to his family, to the safety and love waiting for him. In the soft morning light, Liam saw Sarah sitting in the living room. Her face still showed worry, but as soon as she saw Liam, joy and relief flooded her expression. Her eyes brimmed with tears, reflecting boundless happiness at his safe return. "Liam," Sarah whispered, standing up and rushing toward him. Without giving him a chance to speak, she hugged him tightly, as if fearing that if she let go, it would all be just a dream. "I was so worried I couldn't sleep. Thank God you're back." Liam placed a hand on her shoulder, feeling the slight tremble in her embrace. He knew that he wasn't the only one who had faced fear and pressure. Sarah, always by his side, had endured so much as well. "I'm sorry for making you worry," he said softly, his voice filled with affection. "But it's over now. I've done what needed to be done, and now we can live in peace." Just then, the two little girls, Emma and Lily, suddenly woke up and ran out of their bedroom. Their round eyes widened upon seeing Liam, and without hesitation, they both rushed to hug him. Emma, the older sister, looked up at him with clear eyes that held a surprising maturity, while little Lily clung to his shirt. "Brother Liam, you're back," Emma said, her voice trembling with emotion. "Lily and I prayed for you all night." Liam knelt, hugging his two little sisters tightly, feeling the warmth from their young yet loving hearts. "I promised you, didn't I?" He smiled, his eyes glistening with happy tears. "I promised I'd come back to protect you. Now we don't have to be afraid anymore." Sarah sat beside them, gently stroking Emma and Lily's hair. "Did you know," she said, her voice choked with emotion, "Liam did all of this not only for himself but for our family. He always thinks of you, always wants to protect his family." At that moment, all memories of long, anxious nights and fears of an uncertain future seemed to fade away. Now in each other's embrace, this small family felt a warmth spreading, a sense of safety and peace they had long yearned for. Emma looked at her brother, admiration shining in her eyes. "Brother Liam, I want to be brave like you when I grow up. I want to protect people the way you did." Liam gazed at her, pride evident in his eyes. "You can be anything you want, Emma. But remember, true strength isn't just in fighting, it's in love and patience. That's what brought me back." Their conversation didn't need many words because each of them understood what remained unspoken. It was trust, hope, and resilience shown by each family member throughout this time. Sarah, with a look full of love, placed a hand on Liam's shoulder and whispered, "We'll rebuild our lives together. We'll overcome every challenge. Our family will always stay together." Liam nodded, feeling his heart warm once again. The arduous journey had ended, and he realized that what mattered most wasn't what he had accomplished out there, but the family waiting for him at home. In the dawn light, they sat together, needing no words. Their presence alone was enough comfort, hope, and proof of unbreakable family love. And no matter what the future held, they knew they would overcome it all, for they had each other. After the gang was dismantled and those who threatened the family were arrested, Emma and Lily's lives gradually returned to peace and happiness in the embrace of their new family. No longer haunted by terrifying shadows, being stalked, or fearing every trip outside, the two girls could finally live a life of true childhood. The frightening memories gradually faded, replaced by the warmth and love that Sarah and Liam showered upon them. Every new day for Emma and Lily was a joyful one. The family often spent weekend afternoons picnicking at the nearby park, visiting museums, and even going on trips to explore nature and new places. On every outing, the girls would chatter about their dreams and innocent plans with Sarah and Liam. They all felt a deepening connection, where each person found peace and joy in each other's company. One evening, in her little room, Emma sat at her desk, carefully drawing on a blank sheet of paper. She was creating a special picture she had held in her heart for a long time. It was a family portrait, an image of the home she had always imagined. Emma wanted to use bright colors to capture the happiness, love, and safety she and Lily had felt since living with Sarah and Liam. The drawing took several days to complete, but each stroke of Emma's pen was filled with love and care. Finally, on a sunny morning, Emma decided to give the picture to Sarah. She quietly walked into the living room, where Sarah was reading a book. After a moment of hesitation, Emma handed the picture to Sarah, her eyes sparkling with pride and happiness. "Sarah, I drew this picture for you," Emma said, her voice trembling with emotion. "This is our family." Sarah took the picture and couldn't hold back her tears as she looked at Emma's artwork. On the paper was a picture of a family standing together under a clear blue sky, each person smiling brightly. Sarah saw herself, Liam, and the two little sisters, Emma and Lily. They stood among wildflowers, a symbol of freedom, joy, and life that the family had brought to the two girls. Emma had also included a few thoughtful details: a kite flying high, symbolizing hope, and a small house with a red roof, representing their new home. Sarah's eyes grew misty as she noticed the care and love Emma had poured into each detail. She smiled, gently running her hand through Emma's hair. "Thank you, Emma. This is the most meaningful gift I have ever received," Sarah said, her voice full of emotion and pride. "I am truly grateful to have you in my life." At that moment, Liam and Lily entered the living room, surprised to see Sarah and Emma embracing with the picture in hand. Lily looked at the picture and exclaimed with delight, "This is our family. Emma and I have found a real home." Her eyes sparkled with joy. Liam smiled, pulling all three of them into a warm embrace. They stood together, feeling love and peace spread through them. In that embrace, the pain of the past and every lingering fear seemed to fade away. All that was left was peace, joy, and faith in a bright future. That day, Sarah decided to hang Emma's picture on the living room wall so that anyone entering the house could see it. The picture wasn't just a piece of innocent artwork, but a testament to the family's unity, love, and hope. Each time they looked at it, they felt a strange warmth, as though every hardship they had overcome only made them cherish each other more. In the days that followed, Liam, Sarah, Emma, and Lily continued to enjoy a peaceful life. Emma and Lily went to school, made new friends, and slowly integrated into their new environment. They not only excelled academically, but were also very active in extracurricular activities, earning the admiration of their teachers and friends. Emma frequently brought home new drawings, while Lily was passionate about creating fairy tales to share with the family. One afternoon, the family took a walk in the park, where gentle breezes blew and birds chirped merrily. Lily held Emma's hand, pulling her toward a patch of colorful wildflowers. Liam and Sarah strolled behind, smiling as they watched the girls run and play. "What are you thinking, Liam?" Sarah asked, gently linking her arm through his. Liam looked at Sarah, his gaze warm and peaceful. "I think we finally have a complete family. I've never felt as happy and grateful as I do now." Sarah nodded softly, feeling the happiness swell in her heart. "We've overcome all the challenges and pain. Now we have Emma and Lily, and this family will always be a safe place for them." That afternoon, the family sat together on the grass, gazing at the clear blue sky and sharing dreams and hopes for the future. After years of loss and wandering, Emma and Lily had finally found a true home where they could grow up surrounded by love and protection. The image of the family gathered together, laughing under the twilight, remained one of their most beautiful memories. No matter what hardships life might bring, they knew that the strength and love of their family would always be the greatest support, helping them overcome every obstacle. As the story ends, the sunset casts a warm, radiant glow over the family. They know that from now on, Emma and Lily will never have to face loneliness and fear again. They had all found each other, and now they were not only family, but an inseparable part of one another, painting together a portrait of happiness and peace forever. This heartwarming story of the twin girls and the police officer reminds us of the power of compassion and timely help. If you ever see someone in need, what would you do? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with meaningful stories like this one. See you next time.